to...
Honey, Nikki's looking for this, please. It's right there.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us again on a Monday morning. We are refreshing our screens to make sure that we can follow you and see your questions. For those of you that have joined already, please go ahead and share the broadcast on your pages so that you can get some education out to fellow nail professionals. And this month's episode or broadcast is actually about natural nails, so it may be something that you also wouldn't mind your clients seeing so that they can get that information that you've been telling them over and over. Because sometimes I feel like we're the mom, and even though we say it 100 times, they're like, yeah, whatever. And then someone else tells them what we've been telling them all along, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's like life-changing. And you're like, really? This is
how many times have I told you that?
Yes. So hopefully maybe if your clients hear it from us and our special guests, they'll be like, oh, wow, this is so great. And you can just be like, really? Okay. Oh, here's the broadcast. I'm going to share it.
And mine's not giving me the option to share. Okay.
Uh-oh. Did Facebook change something?
They could have.
Oh, that's right. You do the app, huh?
Yes. Holly goes through the website. I go through the app. So both work a little bit different.
Some of our regulars are on. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us.
I can't even see. There we go. Ah, there it is. Help if I did the app right.
The app is so different than the page. It gets weird. So while we're giving everyone a moment to join so that no one misses anything, please go ahead and share the broadcast so we can get as many people educated at once as possible. And keep in mind that the broadcasts are always still available on the Nails Magazine Facebook page as well as on our YouTube. All right. I've got it shared to 1. We're so excited about the special guests today, you guys. They're like really awesome people that are super excited about education. I've ran into them at several different events. I've taken classes. I've gotten demos at trade shows, and they're so full of passion and information about the natural nail, which is pretty rare. Usually everyone just wants to dazzle you with nail art.
Guilty.
So it's kind of nice to talk to people that are still looking at that basic nail foundation, because how many of you have clients with the perfect natural nail?
A couple maybe.
Like a very small percentage of who we have perfect natural nails. And so discussing what we can do when the natural nails are not perfect to give them a better foundation is always helpful. And for those of you that are new to the broadcast, this is NailOn with Holly and Mel. And we do this once a month.
Oh, the second Monday of every month at 11 a.m. Central Time.
So you can always find us here. We are pretty brand neutral. We love all of the brands in the industry. We think there's room for everyone. And we enjoy education. That's what we're here for, is to help elevate the industry through education.
Nail geeks.
Total nail geeks.
Actually, that's my license plate, is nail geek.
It is. It totally is. So, hey, Karen, welcome back. Hi, Victoria. Victoria's in Canada.
Perfect
so
nails. Blah, ha, ha, ha.
Right? Like, that so doesn't happen. So what do we have for education coming up for nails? I know the Nail Cruise for 2020 is already up and open, taking your applications and deposits. We have Nail Camp coming up in May in Atlanta. There's also the Northwest Nail Tech Retreat in October in Vashon Island, just off the coast of Seattle, which is absolutely beautiful. And I hear Doug Schoon is going to be there this year. So some serious natural nail education going on there. Gatlinburg. We've got the Smokies in Gatlinburg in July. And then the Foot Forward Summit through Nails Magazine is going to be in Atlanta in August. So there are a lot of education opportunities coming up. If we missed one, just going off of memory, I have a blog that lists a lot of education events. Please feel free to post links to your favorite education and networking events in the broadcast chat. We would love to have those shared with everyone. And without further ado, let's see who our special guests are.
Yay!
Dun,
Good
dun,
morning.
dun. Yay, it's Jim and Linda. Woo!
Hi, everybody.
Will it look better if we turn them sideways?
Probably. They would be bigger.
Let's see. We're gonna flip your orientation here.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's
much better.
better.
Now they're bigger. Yay.
Hi guys.
Brilliant. Oh,
and,
yeah. It's
and
much
where are
better
you
sideways.
joining us from this morning?
Great, thank you. Hello from Las Vegas, and thank you to both of you for hosting us. We've been looking forward to it for many months, actually.
Yeah, we
We feel
started
very honored. Thank
we
you.
started discussing these guys fall maybe?
Yes,
Yeah.
we knew you would be hard to catch, so it's like, all right, let's get them scheduled in.
Oh, that's great. Yep, you got us. We're home for a couple of months, no travel, so we're really excited that we were able to do this.
Nice. That's got to be a good feeling to be home for a little bit, sleep in your own bed.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, it sure does. It sure does.
And I told Holly I had to do at least one commercial for Las Vegas. It's 68 degrees right now. The high will be 75 today. It's funny because everybody always comes to Las Vegas for Cosmoprof or the IBS, and it's always hotter than you know what.
Right?
He thinks it's 12 months a year that we have that heat, which if that was the case, nobody would live here. 2.5 months, but we need our good weather too. So.
Oh, but I didn't realize that Vegas actually cooled off. I'm one of those people that's guilty of thinking it's always ridiculous.
No, it's so nice.
It's really only a few months out of the year that it gets a little hot. But other than that, we wake up in the morning, we open up all our back doors, and our dogs run in and out. Our kids come in and out, so it's pretty cool.
That sounds
it's
nice.
Very nice. Somebody should try coming here outside of July, August.
Ah,
And-
good advice.
Note to self, not July and August.
Right.
Okay.
Visit Vegas outside of July and August.
Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome. It'll
Exactly.
change our opinion. Oh, wow. Morgan says it's snowing in Maine.
Oh my goodness.
We got it snowing in Maine right now.
Right?
Oh good lord.
Vegas.
Right? Go visit Vegas, Morgan. It's a little warmer.
Iowa's not going to be too bad today.
Yeah, I was supposed to hit up to 68 today. So the Midwest is finally, although I hear North Dakota is supposed to get some snow this week. So it's not done yet.
I finally just took the rubber floor mats out of my car. Like, okay.
Right?
I know.
Mine stay year round for the mud.
Oh, that's true.
And the good thing about our industry is that no matter what the weather is, as professional nail techs, we are always busy. So it doesn't matter-
Exactly.
True.
No, it's hot, it's cold, so that's all a good thing.
Yes, it's always treat your skin for too dry, treat your skin for cold and dry, treat your skin for
Absolutely.
humidity. Yes, there's something for everything. Awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So, to prepare for today's broadcast in previous conversations with Jim and Linda, or more directly Linda, she had given me an outline of things to discuss, topics to discuss today, and they focus on the natural nail. It says our nail world revolves around nail coatings and natural nails, and these coatings that have been around forever. I hope this is okay if I read this, Linda. I won't give away any of your information. Is the coatings that we have are gel polish, soak-off gels, hard gels, acrylics, traditional polish, dipping systems, and wraps. But you need the solid foundation of a good natural nail to put any of those on. Right? Okay.
True. And I see that we had one person said maybe 2 of her clients have
Yes.
healthy natural nails. So let's have some hearts and thumbs up for people that have less than 5 clients with perfect natural nails. I want to see some thumbs up and some hearts. If you have less than 5 clients with perfect natural nails, it would totally be me. I have less than 5. I'm putting up a little thing.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, there go a few.
So would you like to discuss the your guys' views on natural nails and the way to care for them?
Yeah, well, obviously myself being a longtime nail tech, we always know that we as the nail professional can, do the best job. We always have to make sure that not only are we treating our clients' nails with tender love and care, but also that we teach them how to take care of their nails also at home, which we all know sometimes is a huge task.
Yes.
You have to be a taskmaster to get them to do what they're supposed to.
Keep going with that, because if they take care of what we do at home, and then, because all of the things, Mel, that you listed over top of the natural nail, when we put something over top of the natural nail, anytime there's something on top, there's always some kind of chance for some kind of damage. And it's doesn't say that we as the nail tech are the ones that are the cause of some of that damage. They pull it off, so on and so on. But that's why, Jim and I both feel very strong about us as nail professionals making sure that we keep our clients' nails as healthy as possible. And a lot of time it's by using strengtheners that maybe work inside the natural nail, so that we get that nail, like Mel said, we get that foundation perfect, and then anything that we put over top of the natural nail has a better chance of staying on more efficiently.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of the times damage is from the nail professional. When it's not from the nail professional, it's from the client. So it's not product. No. Usually we're not putting on product that is like munching away at the natural nail. And looking at our own techniques is something we really need to do as an industry, because if we don't stand up and take responsibility for what we're doing, it's difficult to preach to the clients that they should take responsibility for what they're doing. So making sure you're following directions. How many times do you see a gel polish system, for example, and it says remove the shine? Remove the shine doesn't mean half the nail plate.
Right, your average nail is, give or take, 100 to 150 layers of cells thick. And imagine, as a nail professionals, we should affect less than 3% of that. So imagining a notebook pad with 100 pieces of paper in it. If you remove 3 pieces of paper, you really shouldn't see a difference. But you start to remove 10 pieces or more, 15 pieces or more, you're going to start to notice a difference. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's a great analogy.
Thank you. I think I picked that up from somebody else. I won't take credit for creating that one. The analogy that I do take credit for, in the way I can help clients understand to make sure keeping their nails healthy under whatever coatings they have on, is leaves. Imagine a leaf. A green leaf with moisture has some bend and some flexibility to it. So using your cuticle oil, whatever your choice may be, helps your nails stay like that green leaf. A dry leaf without any moisture just cracks and breaks and splits and peels. You want your nails to be green leaves, not brown leaves.
That's a good one too. I like it.
That's really good.
Yeah, we just lost you, but I'll jump in.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, I can hear you again. But no, I was going to say that it's interesting that if you look at the last 10 years of the professional nail industry, we've had 2 fantastic contributors to the success of our industry, and that being gel polish, and then nail art has just gone to levels I think nobody could have foreseen. So those things are fantastic, and they bring a lot of attention and a lot of revenue in through the salon. But in saying that, then you also need, as a nail professional, and the reason you're called a professional is because you're going to focus on more than the obvious, is the more you focus on the natural nail as a healthy, strong foundation, then all those other things that go on top are going to be more successful for your client. And at the end of the day, that's what brings recurring revenue in for the nail professional.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well said.
It would be the same thing as if you're going to create a drawing. Are you going to use a clean new sheet of paper, or are you going to crinkle it up and put a few tears in it and then draw on it? And
expect to have a masterpiece when you're done.
exactly. So taking care of your foundation makes your artistry look better.
Yeah.
We have a few reader comments. Some clients just don't seem to care. It's astounding. They want their nails to look healthy, but can't seem to be bothered getting into a habit of taking care of them. That's a really good point, and it's something I hear a lot in classes. Do you guys hear the same thing? That their clients just don't want to do anything? I find the best analogy in that case is to compare it to their hair services. I will tell them, okay, so if you're getting your hair colored once every 6 to 8 weeks, what I want you to try is to not put conditioner on your hair until your next color appointment. And they're shocked at the idea of that. They're absolutely appalled. And it's, your hair is keratin and your nails are keratin. Why would you condition one and not the other and expect the one that you're not conditioning to perform at its peak capacity?
I will tell a client that, me seeing you one hour every 2 weeks does not make me 100% responsible for your nails. My responsibility in this scenario is to make sure you're educated to know what to do and how to care for your nails the rest of those 2 weeks.
Yes. Teach them that it's a partnership. You're not a magician, you're their partner. And you're their partner in nail care. This time of year, I think they're most guilty of gardening without gloves.
You probably have that year-round in Vegas, don't you? Do they garden year-round?
And so one of the tips that I will give my clients, because it kind of just resonates for them because they don't like how dirty their nails stay after the gardening, I'll tell them scratch their nails across a bar of soap and then put the gloves on, and it keeps stuff out of that hyponychium so that they don't get those little sore little spots in there, and their nails don't keep that dirt kind of ingrained in that underneath that makes it look like they've been digging other places. And that helps them feel better about the gardening. Plus it talks them into wearing the gloves because I'm putting it in their court as being about them instead of about taking care of the nails for my benefit.
So Jim and Linda, can you touch on for us how you went about, like, the science behind creating your nail care products and the education or the experience you have with researching the natural nail?
Yeah, before we do that, I'm going to let Jim do that. I just want to make a statement to all of you guys. I see everybody commenting on the chat board, and there's some really amazing nail professionals that are watching this. So I commend you for being here. The one thing that I do, because my job is to educate our nail customers, our nail techs. And one of the things that I try and let them know is that we can build this industry, our relationship, our reputation, by those of us that are the ones that decide that education is important and take every education and ask questions. The more of us that do that, the more I think we're going to be able to turn some of those clients who say that they don't really care about their nails. We're all going to be saying the same thing, and I think it, in the long run, will help them start to realize just how important it is, because there's going to be more of us talking about the health of the natural nail.
Agreed.
I'm amazed by when I have new clients come in that have maybe been somewhere else, just moved here, they're looking for a new nail professional. I'll say, okay, has your previous nail professional talked to you about at-home care and what you need to do at home? Oh, well, no. Like, really? Okay, well, let's have that discussion.
Yeah, they've never heard of oil. They've never had their cuticle work done.
Yes.
It's astounding.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Jim.
Okay.
Wow us.
So,
We know you will.
having been in the industry longer than I'm willing to admit, I've seen all the phases. When the industry started, we used dental products, and then the dental products were outlawed or banned by the FDA, and so what's really great about our industry is that science can always step up to the plate, and science is continually evolving, and sometimes in our industry, but sometimes outside of our industry, and other industries are making big breakthroughs that we can draw back into our industry and offer to the nail professionals. So with Famous Names, we have had a focus on the natural nail. Even though Linda and I grew up in the industry and we're a bit known, I can tell you starting a company is hard.
I can only imagine.
Your name out there and your brand out there and your philosophy out there, it's hard work. And so they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And we were sitting around, it was actually New Year's Day in 2011, New Year's Day, philosophizing, what can we do to improve the industry? Like what approach could we take that no one else has? And we ended up saying, well, what if we could work a product into the natural nail and have it deliver benefits? So that was the seed. and it took, for us, it took 3 years of a lot of research, a lot of testing, a lot of field testing. So when we say testing, we start in-house, and I'm lucky now that I basically have 2 in-house testers, Linda and our oldest daughter, Nikki, has turning into a fantastic tester. But once we say, okay, we have something, then we go into the field. And I've seen several names watching that have participated in that process. And why wouldn't you go into the field and ask a professional their opinion? It's amazing how many companies don't, but that's like a cornerstone of Famous Names. But to answer your question, the real challenge was penetrating the natural nail is very difficult. So finding a blend of monomers that we could actually get into the nail plate, and then once it was in the nail plate, cure it was basically why it took 3 years. But again, every product has to start with a vision, and the vision was, why has nobody done this? Why can't we? And then 3 years of effort, we were able to crack the nut and to deliver that product. And it's been, I think, fair to say, it's contributed to producing a healthy natural nail foundation for whatever's being applied over the top.
I would definitely agree with that. It's definitely something that's revolutionary. It's been acknowledged by Doug Schoen as being revolutionary to the industry. Everyone that I talk to that has used it would agree that it has been a total game changer in the salon, especially for clients that either don't have a healthy foundation on their own naturally, or they have created an unhealthy foundation because they feel the need to peel their gel polish off to help you.
I'm going to save you some time.
Right. I helped you and took my polish off. That's amazing. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the surface of the nail being difficult to penetrate? Because I've noticed that a lot of products these days claim that their products penetrate the nail, especially something with as large of a molecule as a powder, saying it deposits vitamins and minerals and all of that fun stuff into the nail. So can you explain why the nail is difficult to penetrate?
Yes. In real simple terms, it's a super dense structure, and it's designed that way for our lifestyles. From, I don't know, for the time of cavemen who had to go out and hunt and, to Holly's point, scratch the dirt with their nails. The nail had to be tough. So, the evolution, I know, isn't that, see, now I have my own original analogy.
All right. All right.
Anybody can borrow it if you want. But anyway, so it's a very dense structure, and so figuring out how to penetrate it, and at some point it's not complicated. It is difficult, but the whole key to anything in chemistry, and in this case, is molecular weight of what can and cannot penetrate the nail. And we did a study, which I'll get to next, but molecular weight, but also the shape of the molecule. Because, and I'm going to borrow one from Doug soon, that if you have molecular weight that appears it may be able to penetrate, but it's shaped like a saucer instead of like a skinny little lizard, then the saucer shape is not going to be conducive to it being able to penetrate into the nail plate, whereas the one that's kind of shaped like the lizard can.
Nice.
So it's really those two fundamental features that were our screen of saying what could we possibly test to penetrate into the nail.
Excellent. And so one good point of that would be ask the company that's telling you, hey, our products penetrate the nail and it leaves this and that behind in the nail. Ask them how. Ask them to give you some more information. And if it doesn't sound like they're giving you science the way that Jim is giving you science, it's an indication that you're getting marketing versus science-based fact. And you should always be able to know the difference so that you know, is your product giving you marketing that you then give your client and you're not really giving your client a benefit, or is your product giving you science and you're actually seeing a benefit to your client's nails? So always be aware and be diligent, and don't just take anyone's word for it. When you follow someone like Jim and Linda or Doug Schoon, and you constantly watch what they're putting out through social media or through their classes and education, you can tell the difference between people that are willing to answer your questions down to the science nitty-gritty versus people that just keep repeating, well, just because it does, just because it is, but it smells pretty.
If they're evasive, that should tell you something.
Yes. So kind of keep an eye out for those kinds of things, because when it comes to that foundation, that healthy natural nail, you want true, legitimate scientific information.
Okay, I like Victoria's comment here. It says, science rules and marketing fluff rules.
That's so Victoria.
That's a really good point. And to answer the second half, because I just remembered I didn't answer it. Like, I have this cup of coffee, and if the manufacturer of coffee said, well, we have vitamin D and whatever else the vitamins, supposedly calcium, whatever, are in our coffee, well, okay, but what does that mean? Mm-hmm. What's the impact of having the calcium in my coffee?
Why do I need it?
Yes.
Yeah. Does my body absorb it, or does it just get excreted? What benefits does it bring? Because to be honest with you, I've never understood about the penetration of vitamins into the nail plate. My personal opinion is I don't think they integrate into the keratin structure, and I don't believe they bring any benefits. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm certainly willing to sit down and look at the data, but I've never seen any data that supports that. Mm-hmm.
So ask questions. That's the biggest key to education, is asking questions. Some really good advice from Lydian. She requires that her clients purchase an oil at their first appointment. I usually give away a little pinky of oil at the first appointment. And you should know the cost per service of your oil, so you have a rough idea. Okay, they took this oil home, they're going to run out of that in about 2 to 3 weeks. Or they took this size of bottle home, they're going to run out of that in about 3 to 4 months. So that you have a rough idea when to ask them, hey, do you need a refill or do you need a new bottle of oil? And that lets you know if they're using it or not.
I know if I ask my clients, so have you been using your solar oil? They kind of get that look on their face. I'm like, it's like going to school and telling your teacher you did the homework.
Right? My dog ate it.
It's funny because it reminds me of when I was a kid and I had braces on.
Uh-huh.
And orthodontist always gave you those tiny little rubber bands that you were supposed to wear, but they made your teeth like hurt really bad.
Yes.
I never wore them, but when I went in, it's like, oh no, I wear them every day. My teeth going, no, you don't.
Right? It's like, we can totally tell. So if there are any clients watching the broadcast, we know if you're using your oil or not.
Yes.
What's
God.
next on the outline?
Oh my God.
Did you have anything to add, Linda?
No, I
Okay.
agree totally. And Jim explains things
Talking about that.
when it comes to chemistry so that we can all understand it, which is always great to listen to him. I have to do it 24 hours a day, so sometimes my brain gets a little on overload. It's constant. Sometimes Jim will be talking to Carly and Nikki and I, and the girls will just look at me and saying, "Uh-oh, here we go." Here goes the chemistry lesson.
Well, just so if I may, just share one other kind of chemistry application to the nails. But we actually hired Doug Schoon to do a study for us because I was really curious with nail oils, and we actually don't market ours as a nail, but we market it as a nail and skin treatment because it really brings benefits to both. But I wanted to know what molecular size oils could penetrate the nail plate. And he came back to study, and it was really fascinating that a molecular weight of about 670 or less could potentially penetrate the nail plate. Above that, it wouldn't be able to. And then the potentially part is back to what I said earlier, that if it was the proper shape molecule and below 670, then it probably was penetrating the nail plate. So when we created our products that fall into those categories, we stuck by that rule, and we've always stayed below, as far below 670 as possible.
Tell us a little bit more about choosing oils for the nails and the skin.
I'll let Linda can comment on that.
Well, we, as Jim said, we wanted to formulate an oil that was not, as you would say, a cuticle oil, that was a nail and skin treatment oil, something that we knew that was going inside, around the skin, that was doing something, and so obviously we spent a lot of time working on our oil, and we decided that what was important to us was that we use something as natural as possible, that we, tried to stay away from synthetic ingredients. And obviously, as most of you know that use our products, know that we try to use as many certified organic oils as possible. So and one of the things that Jim and I both pride ourselves on with what we're doing now, as you guys all know, we've been around forever and done just about everything in the nail industry that there is to do. When we started Famous Names, we did not start this company. As you guys know, right now we only have 7 products in 9 years. We decided that if we were going to come out with a product, we were going to try and come out with one that is the best we could possibly make it, opposed to coming out with a lot of products. And that pertains to our oil. We spent a lot of time on that. We're really, really proud of what we've done with them. And we can thank Jim for that, because I'll never forget it, because when we were playing around with our oil, we were in San Diego, and Jim and I shared the same office, and I had my mindset that I wanted this oil to have orange in it. I wanted it to smell orange. And Jim was like, okay, that's good. So here we go. Let's mix. And we mixed these oils, and he put them in between our desks. He said, I want you to smell this for a week, and then tell me what you feel after a week. After a week, I was like, oh my God, you were so right. I would die of my nails every day. So those are kind of the things that Jim and I do, which makes it really fun. So we go the next step to try and give what we feel is the best of the best.
Yeah, and then talk, if you can, just talk about some of the properties. You don't have to name the oil specifically, but what some of the properties are that, because there's a whole lot of work behind the scenes if you want to create a great product, that you have to be looking for specific benefits that it's going to deliver.
Because we want to... Oops, sorry.
Class knows this, one of the parts of our oil, and I'll just say, if you guys look at extra virgin olive oil, we all know that, extra virgin olive oil was a wives' tale when our grandmothers were growing up, that it was great for your face. But we didn't realize that extra virgin olive oil couldn't penetrate in the skin. And even if it did penetrate, what was the benefit? And what we've found is the benefit is huge, because extra virgin olive oil has something in there called oleocanthal that is naturally a part of it. And oleocanthal is a natural anti-inflammatory. So when we figured this out, we're saying, okay, so now what other oils can we use so that we can take this oil down into the skin and have it work as an anti-inflammatory? And so that to me was huge. And that's, when I started using it on my face, on my eyes, and any place that needed some kind of inflammation taken away. So that's, in a nutshell, one of that.
Yeah, and then antioxidant. What are some of the other properties that our oils do? Without mentioning the oils.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's so hard to do.
On products specifically.
Right.
Okay, I have a question then. Can you explain why antioxidant is important? You see that on so many products, from skincare products to food products. Why is antioxidant important?
Why is antioxidants important?
So like if in general, if you look at chemistry, the process of oxidation. So like if you have like your dashboard in your car and it starts getting kind of brittle or loses its color, that is from the process of oxidation. So oxidation breaks things down chemically. So we're lucky because for people, if we have good antioxidants in our products, then we can combat that, that part of the aging process. So that's why it's so important. And, like for us, it was a no-brainer that we use natural vitamin E and not synthetic, not because synthetic's bad, but because if you measure the antioxidant activity of natural versus synthetic, natural has a higher level.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Commonly, I find that clients will be so proud of themselves when they come in. They say, "Oh, I bought some cuticle oil at Walmart or Dollar General or what have you." What are a couple key things that we could tell them to understand the difference in quality between what they picked up at a discount drugstore and the salon?
Well, first of all, I would probably say just what Jim's been saying. It's the ingredients and what's actually in those products that they're picking up at the grocery store or at Walmart, opposed to, the product that's formulated by the professionals. So I would definitely look at the ingredients. Absolutely.
Yeah, and typically, I know when I co-founded the first company I was involved in, the most popular oil on the market, I think it was called Delore. I'm pretty sure it was Delore.
Right. Yeah.
And but it was almost all mineral oil. Well, the molecular weight of mineral oil is way above 670, so it
Right, just sits on the surface.
Not penetrating. But it was so popular, we just couldn't understand it. But so that's why looking at the ingredients, like Linda said, it's like mineral oil and other oils. And in fact, if you want, we can send you that study on the molecular size of oils, and you can forward it to
that would be an awesome blog.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting information, but that's a good point to start. The other thing I'll add that came out of that study, tea tree oil has one of the lowest molecular weights of any oil in nature, but it has a horrible smell. So you have to kind of go through a screening process.
Yes.
There's another one, which I won't mention in name, but low molecular weight, but it's very unstable, so it goes rancid quick. Those are all the things you need to look for.
And nothing is more awesome than opening up a rancid bottle of oil and you're like, whoa. Especially if you accidentally left it in your trunk and it rolled around for a year or so. Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. Oh, never mind.
Right. Let's see.
And if I may add, I just had another thought.
Yes,
Yes, please.
The other thing we did a lot of work on was organic versus non-certified organic. And in our case, we noticed better in benefits. Not that the non-organic didn't have benefits, but we noticed improved benefits from the organic. So that's why we went with organic. It really bothers me that some people focus in on terminology that is strictly marketing.
Yes.
And it's not, it's not delivering the beef, so to speak.
Yes.
In the form of benefits. And so for us, we're proud that we used organic, but we're proud because it works. We found it worked better. And believe me, when you buy, like in the oil market, when you buy certified organic, they are way more expensive. So for us, if we had not used the organic, we'd make a lot more money. But one of our other foundations as a company, we want products that really deliver a power punched benefit to the nail professional and their client.
And I do think the use of the word organic as a marketing term has diluted its power. It doesn't mean as much to people and I'm as guilty as the next person. As soon as someone says, "Oh, well, it's organic," I'm like, "All right, thanks, bye." Especially when it comes to skin products or hair products or in food. I won't even walk past the organic vegetable aisle in the grocery store because we grow stuff on the farm and I'm not running around saying it's organic. It grew on the farm just the same as that did. They're both technically organic. And so I like that you have science behind the reasoning of organic so that your use of organic goes beyond marketing into science.
Yes.
That's
Totally.
awesome.
Yes,
Totally.
and then clearly you also mentioned that there's some type of products that you don't use at all in your ingredients you don't use in your products. So you're staying away from products that could potentially have skin irritations. So you're staying with the healthiest option that you can. Is that correct?
Yeah, completely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, it's on you.
Nope, it's all you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a little delay, so I didn't want to be rude.
Nope.
But no, you're exactly right. And I know Linda and I, a very big piece of our business is international. So Linda and I do a tremendous amount of travel around the world, and not just to the fun places, even though pretty much every place is fun. But it was interesting. We did quite a bit of travel to Eastern Europe and into Russia last year, and we noted we had a lot of our distributors and their clients ask us about specific ingredients that are pretty common in Eastern Europe. And those ingredients, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, that's why I wanted to ask you, but specifically in our notes, I had singled one out.
We're allowed to talk about that specific...
Remind me which... Yes, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Because I think you can explain it well enough that it's not defensive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
not at all, and it's certainly not meant to be. But we were being asked, what's your opinion? Why don't you guys use it? And the ingredient is Hema, Hema, and it's interesting because way back when in a prior company we introduced a product that Hema was one of the primary monomers. And so the Hema as an ingredient works. It's a very functional monomer. But within 3 or 4 months of the product being introduced, we started getting a lot of allergic reaction complaints. So we went back and actually this is right when we hired Doug Schoon full-time at the company, and we quickly figured out that it was the Hema that was causing the irritation. So we replaced it with another very functional monomer but less reactive, and the complaints, like if you went 6 months later, they were virtually gone. So I know firsthand, dealing with it, that it has a higher risk of skin irritation. Not that it's guaranteed, oh, you've got Hema in a bottle and it's going to cause allergic reaction, but as a manufacturer and living in Vegas, it's all about the odds, right? So if you can lower the odds, the likelihood of skin irritation, then you've done the right thing for the nail professional and their client. And so basically with Hema, we've elected not to have Hema in any of our products. And again, you just have to make the decision, but you should be making informed decisions and looking at those ingredients, because it's so funny. Like Linda gets emails from customers saying, well, do you have this in your product? Well, look at the ingredient list. I mean, we work hard on those darn ingredient lists. So, look at your ingredient list. I mean, that's why we list them. I mean, that's what they're there for. They're there to inform the customer, not just to tip off our competitor, what
right.
our formula is, but it's there to inform the customer what is in the bottle.
Okay, and I have to admit, I didn't know what Hema stood for, and since I'm the analytical one, I had to look it up. It was hydroxyl ethyl methacrylate.
Yes.
I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or close enough.
And in a perfect world, as nail professionals, we would keep the products from touching the skin. However, in reality, just even with gel polish, how often does your client move their hand a little bit, or you didn't eat lunch and so your hands are shaking a little bit and you get some on the skin and you wipe it off? And so as ideal and perfect world it would be to never get product on the client's skin, the reality is we're probably sometimes going to, and that's
probable.
what leads to that overexposure.
And we do have a question. Morgan would like to know what replaced Hema.
There's a variety of. It's a good question. Tell her if she messages me, I'll tell her. But there's actually a variety of monomers, and I said earlier that science moves forward, and the science of monomer and polymer technology is growing literally every year. So there's equally functional monomers that have lower sensitivity profiles, so why not switch to those? And it's not really a cost thing either, because Hema, I don't know, I haven't looked in a long time because we don't use it, but Hema might be maybe 10% less. But if you're using a monomer at 8% of your formula, and it costs 10% more to use the alternative that has a better skin sensitivity profile, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
That's what I was just going to say. It's a no-brainer.
Well, and this kind of comes back to the vicious cycle of nail professionals demanding that manufacturers support them. They show up at trade shows and they support them with classes, and yet nail professionals are constantly searching the internet to get products cheaper, and they're willing to purchase them from anywhere, and they're not looking at distributors anymore, and they're frustrated that the professional distributors don't have nail products on the shelves, but they're ordering them off the internet. And so it becomes a cycle of the products are not available because you don't purchase them there, and they're not going to order the products and have them hanging out there on the shelf on the off chance that you get tired of buying it cheaper online from an unknown source. And so that expense factor of the professional products isn't necessarily that the manufacturers are dying to gouge you as a nail professional. It's that a quality manufacturer is spending the money on quality ingredients so that they can give you an accurate SDS sheet, so that they can answer your troubleshooting questions with scientific information, and so that they can basically be your wingman in your service when you're doing things correctly.
And the manufacturer has already done all the research for you.
Yes.
You don't have to go out and do all that research yourself. Like you, Jimmy, you mentioned that you had a lot of like field testing with your different molecular structures. Was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
He said there was a delay, so I'm like,
Okay.
give him a minute.
This is late, so I thought you were still talking.
Nope, sorry.
And Karen would like to know, do you guys ever hit New Zealand?
We haven't been to New Zealand yet. We've done a lot in Australia, but New Zealand is on our list.
I highly recommend it. It's beautiful.
That would be on my list too.
Yes, you should combine it with a trip to Australia so that you're already across the pond, and like just do Australia and New Zealand at the same time.
Oh, totally. Yeah, you know, it's interesting because we were trying to go last spring, but for some reason the airfares were insane.
Mm-hmm.
So we will when we go to Australia, which may be this fall, springtime in
So there's spring? Yes.
Yes.
that we will absolutely go to New Zealand. In fact, we'll probably make more stops in New Zealand than in Australia.
Definitely let me know, because I'll post that on the blog. I have a lot of followers over there. So
Absolutely.
definitely give me a heads up and I'll help you promote it. So watch out, Karen. They're coming to New Zealand. Whoop, whoop. Lydian says, this is when I got readers so that I could read the ingredient list on the products. And where do you guys keep do you have your SDS sheets on your website, or do nail professionals email you for them? How do they access those?
They email us for them.
Okay. And
Yep.
so Jim and Linda are actually co-owners of a company called Famous Names. And I'm going to pop their links into the comments for everyone so that you can find them for future reference. I have taken several of their classes. They're highly informative. And one of the things that I really find fascinating about Famous Names as a company is when I talk to their educators as a fellow nail professional, or when I talk to even other nail professionals that use the products, they do talk about testing the products. They talk about discussing with Jim and Linda what worked and what didn't work, and they talk about the pride that they feel when something they discovered in testing actually makes a change in the product. And so it's really cool to see that there's a company in the industry that still cares about how things function for the nail professional. And so that's kind of something to keep in mind. The products that you use are for your benefit to make a living. And so kind of take a look at, is your company supporting you as a professional? And then what can you do to support them? Are you purchasing directly from them? Are you purchasing directly from an authorized distributor? Because that's what supports that company that supports you. And if you feel like, oh, the products are just too expensive, maybe you should be charging more. Just saying.
Just, yes.
Okay.
You know, you can just say, you know, I use premium products, so I'm going to charge a premium price for my premium service.
Yes. And generally once clients, like we live in an area that's very Dutch. And so penny pinching is a very mild way of putting it. And
they're very proud of their Dutch.
yes, they're very, very proud of it. However, when you look at maybe your client that is that ultimate penny pincher, are they driving an old jalopy? Are they wearing worn out hand-me-down clothes? Chances are good they're driving a quality car and they were willing to pay quite a bit of money for it because they saw the value in the quality. So the trick is teaching your clients to understand the value and the quality of the products that you use and the work that you do. And this all starts at the foundation, which is the natural nail. So if you're not taking care of that natural nail, if your idea of remove the shine is file half the nail off, then it's difficult to teach your client that your service has value. Did we cover everything in the outline, or are we missing a couple things?
I think you've covered everything.
Sweet. What do we have? Victoria says, save me from a penny pincher. Actually, once you win the penny pincher over, once you teach them the value of your service, it's a very loyal client. They may never tip you, but it's a very loyal client, and they're not afraid to tell other people about your value. And so they're actually doing you a great service when they say, I'm willing to pay this much for this person to do my nails, because other people that know them are like, whoa, she must be really good if they're going to put that much out to get their nails done. And so it really does work in your benefit. And kind of think about if you are shopping for something other than nail products. It seems like everybody wants the cheapest nail product they can find. But when you're shopping for, let's say, shoes, and you run across this really sparkly pair of $5 shoes, and just down the street there's this really sparkly pair of $100 shoes, which one do you feel you need the most? Most people are going to want the $100 shoes because they assume it has more value and more quality because it's a higher price.
Yes, that people, you don't want to bargain basement yourself out of, the perception of quality. Yes. Or the perception of a deal.
Right.
And letting them know, hey, I'm here to take care of your natural nail. One of the guarantees when I still had time to do enhancements is I would let them know, I guarantee that your nails will be in the same condition, if not better, when we remove your nails that they were when we put them on. And that is always something that sadly blew people away. They're always just like,
really?
Like, are you sure? And when they would have to take their nails off for job fluctuations or moving or illness or whatever the reason was that they had to remove their nails, and they would find that their natural nails were either the same or in better condition, it was always shocking. And that's sad, because we are the keeper of the natural nail. You should be the knight in shining armor that saves the princess nail. Just saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Holly, just to add on a comment to that line of thought, one of the major trade magazines came out with their annual issue, and I took the data and actually spent quite a bit of time doing like blended averages, and this surprised me, and it didn't. But the average, according to this data, the average nail tech professional makes $16 an hour. And I'm like, okay, then that's our new mission, is to double that.
Yes.
And they deserve double that. But to your point, it is a true partnership between what you guys do, what we do as a manufacturer, and the decisions they make in their offerings. And to me, $16 an hour is completely unacceptable for the incredible work they deliver to their clients. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and
We're actually
the
shocked.
education alone costs you more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is scary.
It is pretty scary. When Jim ever did all that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that can't be. But it came from a national survey. It's like,
Yes.
wow.
And even if you get online and look up prices around you as a business, you can see that. You can see that the nail professionals are advertising, they're this cheap, and no one is out there advertising the quality of their service. They're advertising how cheap their service is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go, when I go shopping, I'm not looking for what's the cheapest I can get. I want to look at what's the best value for my dollar for the quality that I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we have noticed throughout the broadcast a lot of very specific IBS famous names questions. And because we want to keep the broadcast as non-product specific as possible, we are not ignoring you. We were just leaving you for the end. So Mel and I are going to sign off and say see you next month and give you a few minutes of alone time with Jim and Linda so that you can ask your IBX questions or your famous names questions and give you a few minutes with them. So thank you guys for joining us on the broadcast.
Thank you.
And we'll
Thank you so much.
zoom in to just you.
It was.
And until next month for Mel and I,
Nail on.
Bye, girls. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it's just you guys now.
Okay.
Will they be able to hear us?
Yeah, they can still hear you. Oops. I turned it around on me accidentally. They'll still be able to hear you, and we'll read the questions out of the broadcast for you in case you can't see them.
Oh, okay.
Where did it
Perfect.
go?
You got it back.
Is it zoomed in on them? I can't see it.
By the way, before you guys go, you guys did a great job, Holly and Mel.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good for you to be doing something like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Can they see them okay? All right, so let me scroll back through and see if I can find the questions.
I'm going to go grab another coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Morgan says, I was against IBX initially and told a client's sister nothing on the service will improve the health of the nail. Then I took the certification and I've been singing the praises ever since. So I think part of the question for some people is how does IBX penetrate the surface of the nail?
Well, we are using a combination of a few different monomers in IBX. And in a nutshell, the combination of the monomers, the size of the molecules, the oils that we're using inside of IBX, specifically we're usually using avocado and jojoba. Those oils are penetrative oils. So with the help with those oils mixed with the monomer, with the warmth over top, the warmth over top is really important, that it's warm, not hot, but that warmth actually helps activate and push that IBX, the strengthen and repair, down inside the natural nail plate.
So part of the penetration is having the warmth.
Yep.
And
the oil.
do you have a specific temperature that would explain warmth?
Yeah, and you know what? Because we're all over the world, so light bulbs and stuff are all different. But bottom line, if you tested it out, it's probably like the same warmth that you would get from a jacuzzi, like that warmth that I think Jim relates it like anywhere between the 95 to 100 degrees. You know, when you feel the top of a jacuzzi and you see the warmth that's coming out of it, that's about the same warmth that we need for IBX over top.
Awesome.
So we wouldn't want to put anything really hot like one of those red lamps, because if we put something that warm over top, the product is going to evaporate, dissipate before it has time to actually penetrate into the nail plate. And everybody that's taken my class, you guys know I'm doing them now monthly online, and they're becoming extremely successful. But I always send out, I buy just a regular old table lamp and a regular light bulb. I buy them on Amazon, so it's super, super easy. And it works perfect. It's just what we use at shows, what we use here in my office. So if anybody needs any suggestions, just pop me a message, and I'll send you off what I actually order.
And then we have someone that asked, can you address how IBX is different from other products and how it's cured?
Well, Do you want?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's different about IBX is most strengtheners that we are using now are over the top. So there's something that we put on the surface of the nail plate, and that gives us the strength. What's different about IBX is penetrated inside the upper third portion of the natural nail. Once we get it inside the nail, then we remove what's on top, and then we cure it. When we cure IBX, it is curing inside the nail, forming a structure, actually inside the nail plate, that cross-links to itself. And that structure is permanent. It stays in the nail. It grows out with the nail. Ongoing, we just fill in more of those nooks and crannies because the natural nail has so many different layers and nooks and crannies to it. So that's why you'll notice when you use IBX, the first time, the second time, the third time, every time you use it, you start to see that nail plate getting, better and better, filling up some areas that give us now that nice natural shape that, we would love to have on every one of our clients.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that is the whole goal of IBX being inside the nail was to toughen it. And toughness is a function of strength and flexibility. So the reason it took 3 years was getting that perfect balance between the strength and the flexibility to deliver perfect toughness. So the natural nail could grow out, or we protected the natural nail plate underneath other surfaces.
Yeah.
Do you viewers have any other questions for Jim and Linda before we let them sign off? Or does that answer your questions for today? And we'll give them a second to type in the comments because there's a lag in the broadcast for them, just like there's a lag in the FaceTime for us.
Okay.
Karen said she would like to know how IBX works.
Well, Karen, you need to come and take one of my classes.
Karen's the one in New Zealand.
And Karen, I am actually doing next Monday, I am doing a class for Australia and New Zealand nail techs through our distributor there. And so if I were you, I would contact them and see if maybe you can get into that class. We'd love to have you.
And the distributor is?
The distributor is Switch Funky. They're out of Gold Coast. And so if you want to message me, I'll send you their information and we can get you set up to take the class. And I guarantee you, after taking an IBX advanced certification class, you will know everything that you need to know about IBX and all of our products, how they work, why they work, and I'd love to have you.
And Kim says it's not a question, but she'd love to have a smock that has daddy oil or IBX on it.
You know what? We will work on that. We have a lot of people. We have hats, though. We do have hats, so I will think about that smock. That's not a bad idea.
Do they get hats from the website?
No, they can get hats only from me. So
sweet.
If you want a hat, you have to contact me.
Nice. And if you guys do a smock, I have some ideas for functionality and wearability for all shapes and sizes so that it lays smoothly.
Holly, we'll take your suggestions.
And Heather says, I've been using IBX under my gel polish as a base and I love it. My question is, should it be removed at each manicure or can it be used as a refill service?
Now, if she's talking about IBX,
yes,
IBX does not get removed. IBX, once we get it inside the nail plate, it's in there permanently. We can't soak it up. So it's a permanent part of the structure of the nail plate at that point. So then you just add to it as you go on.
Awesome. And Pam says hi. She's headed back to work. Lydian says thank you for all you do.
Hey, Pam.
Karen says thank you. Yeah, Pam is probably one of your biggest cheerleaders.
Yes.
That would be a fact.
Yeah, she always has... I hesitate to say 5 cents because it's more like 25 cents. She always has 25 cents to give you on the nail cruise about IVX.
She's great. Oh,
So.
she's great. Well, Pam was one of our original testers. So in my presentation, when you take my class, you'll see a couple of nails that Pam pioneered for us. So
Awesome. Heather would like to know, is Boost something that needs to be removed or do you fill it?
okay, so Boost does not have to be removed. Boost was basically formulated to be a buffer layer between gel polish, hard gels, soak-off gels, just to give the nail a little extra strength and a little extra protection, especially if we were applying a hard gel, say to the surface of the nail plate, where with a hard gel you have to remove the shine. I would always use Boost first because to apply a thin layer of Boost, we don't require any kind of filing on the nail plate. So when I do a hard gel, say on myself, I will have my Boost layer and then I'll put my hard gel right over that, and then I've never done any filing on the natural nail plate. So if I was wearing gel polish or that gel and I had my Boost, I have the option to remove whatever I have over top of the gel, either by e-filing or by soaking off, keeping my Boost there, rebalancing it, and then just putting something else over top of it again, or wearing the Boost by itself. Or once you get your coating off of the top of Boost, then you can buff the surface of the Boost to break the seal, and that will soak off all the way down to the nail plate.
The next question is, I posted a link to your contact us page from the website. Is there any other additional method you would like them to use to contact you?
You know what? They're welcome to contact me by my email. They can always email me, and it's really easy. Linda@famousnamesproducts.com.
And I just typed that into the comments for you guys.
Okay.
And, oops, we lost them completely. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oops.
Got it. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Call.
Kim would like to know, how many coats of Boost should I use?
I always do 1 to 2 really thin coats, and I apply my Boost almost similar to how I would apply a gel polish.
So a fairly thin layer.
Yes.
Awesome. And it looks like everyone is sending thank yous, so I think you're at the end of your Q&A. Thank you so much for hanging around extra to answer questions. We super appreciate it. And can they find your online classes as well as your physical classes on the website?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Just go under education.
I am putting a link to the education page in the comments of the broadcast.
And it's also on our Facebook page, too. Famous Names Facebook page.
Under events.
Yes.
Perfect. I'll post that link in the comments for them as well.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun.
Was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. It was
Thank
great
you.
to see
Thank you
you.
very much.
All right, and we're gonna sign everyone off of Facebook Live.
See you at the next show.
For sure.